This is your only warning. Under the rear seat of your BMW 550i is a part that's guaranteed to fail. It's not a myth, it's a certainty. And when it does, it won't be a polite check engine light. It'll be a dead engine on the side of the highway, a tow truck, and a repair bill that could easily top $1,500. The good news, you can fix it yourself. Today, with basic tools. Today, we're defusing this ticking time bomb before it ever goes off. So first things first, let's get these seats moved up to make room to remove the rear seat. Next, we disconnect the battery. We're playing with wires and gas fumes. We need to eliminate any chance of a spark. The battery on the F10 is in the trunk. Pull up the floor lining on the right side and there it is. Use a 10mm socket to loosen the nut on the negative terminal. Tuck it aside so it can't accidentally touch the battery post. Our pump is hiding right under the rear seat. First step, get that rear bottom seat out. It's way easier than it sounds. No tools needed. Reach down into the gap between the seat cushion and the carpet, right where your knees would be. Feel for a front edge of the cushion and give it a firm, sharp pull straight up. You'll hear a loud pop as the clips release. Do that on both sides. Now you can lift the cushion up and slide it right out of the cart. With the seat gone, you'll see some sound deadening material. Peel back the pre-cut section and underneath you'll find two round black metal covers held on by 10mm nuts. Grab your 10mm socket and zip off the nuts holding that cover down. They're not on there very tight. Lift the cover away and there it is. You're now staring at the top of the fuel pump, sitting in the tank. You can see the electrical connector, a fuel line, and a big metal locking ring holding it all down. Before you go any further, take a minute and clean this area. Use a vacuum to get rid of all the dust and crud sitting on top of the pump. The last thing you want is that junk falling into your open fuel tank. Now that the electrical connectors are completely disconnected, now it's time to get this fuel line off. All you need is a flathead. Plain and simple. Once the locking ring is off, the pump is free, but don't just yank it out. The whole assembly is sitting in gas and has a float arm that loves to get snagged. Here's a better look at the fuel pump inside the fuel tank. When removing this fuel pump, there are plastic hoses connected to it. Just be patient because it does get stuck on some things in the tank. I do recommend wearing gloves during this job. If you do not wear gloves, you are gonna smell like gas for like a week. I'm kind of exaggerating, but that's all right. Psst, like the video. All right, we're at the halfway point. The old pump is out. If you're finding this guide helpful and it's saving you from a monster dealership bill, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button.
Hit me, check out, skate pack, dash, 458 for a ride.
Now with the old pump out, I have to switch out this sensor right here. I have to move it over to the new pump so we can move on to installing it. Thought I'd mention this, there are two fuel lines on top. You pretty much have to squeeze your fingers like you're squeezing a gummy bear. Then they'll pop right off. Little BMW fact for you guys. This car does have the 4.4 V8 in it, and it's pretty ballsy. I would love to see how this twin turbo V8 would move with some upgraded turbos. Now, we just do everything in reverse. Let's get the new fuel pump installed. Oh, and I thought I'd mention, don't forget to change this fuel pump seal right here. Carefully lower the new fuel pump into the tank. There will be a few connectors and hoses trying to fight you, but just work your way through it and be patient. Now the fuel pump failure symptoms can start small, and you might miss them if you're not paying attention. One of the very first signs is often the engine takes a few cranks to start, especially on a cold start. That's the pump getting weak, struggling to build the initial pressure. But the most dangerous symptom is the one that often gives no final warning: sudden and complete failure. The pump just gives up. The engine sputters for a second and dies, leaving you coasting to a stop. This isn't a rare thing. It's a known issue. The original pump simply wears out, and it's not a matter of if, but when. That's why we're not just doing a repair today. We're doing critical preventative maintenance. We're replacing a part that's still working to prevent it from failing at the worst possible time. Also, before you put the top on, make sure you plug this connector in. You don't want to leave this unplugged or your car will not start, I guarantee it. Here's how the top of the fuel pump should look before you put the top on. But there's still one more thing I have to do. Okay, now this took me at least like 5 minutes to get back in. But it looks like it's a pressure control or a pressure regulator. Something in line with the fuel line that's on the fuel pump. But this took a minute. I'll show you guys in a second. Here's another fun fact. Some BMW F10 models could be optioned with a sport automatic transmission, a comfortable but sporty interior, and some models had hidden features like rolling up the windows by holding the lock button on the key fob. Did any of you guys know this? Make sure to comment below if you did. Also comment below if you know this engine's engine code. I'll give you a hint, it starts with an N. Okay, now this I believe is a regulator. This is what took me forever to put on. There's a little hole on the fuel pump that you have to put back in. Now, fitting that there was a little tight, but I believe you could do it with some patience. There's usually a little arrow or tab on the pump that needs to line up with a mark on the tank to make sure it's clocked in the right direction. Make sure it sits down flat and flush on the new fuel pump gasket. Oh, and I know I'm speeding through this, but please don't forget that connector on the bottom of that top plastic fuel pump cover. With the new fuel pump seated, thread the locking ring back on by hand. Now grab your special tool and tighten it down clockwise. You want it snug and secure to get a good seal, but don't go crazy and crank on it. It just needs to be good and firm. Time to reconnect. The fuel line just pushes back onto the fitting until you hear a solid click. Give it a gentle tug to be sure it's locked on. Then, plug the electrical connectors back in. It should also click into place. We're on the home stretch. Put the metal access cover back on and snug down the 10mm bolts. Finally, grab the rear seat. Slide it back into position, guide the seat belts through the slots, and push down hard on the front until you hear those two pops, locking it back into place. Head back to the trunk and reconnect the negative battery terminal. Tighten down the 10mm nut. Now before you start the car, we have to prime the system. Get in the driver's seat, but don't put your foot on the brake. Just press the start button to turn the car's electronics on. And just like that, the job is done. The car is running perfectly, the idle is smooth, and that ticking time bomb has been diffused. You just tackled a job that the dealership would have charged you a fortune for. You didn't just save yourself hundreds, maybe even thousands. You gained the confidence that comes from working on your own car. Now you have the peace of mind knowing you won't be that person stranded on the side of the road.